I have a creative agency. I've been able to get it to multiple six figures, but I feel stuck in that. I don't quite make enough to hire and get out of the day to day to focus on lead generation, but I'm stretched really thin.
The grind, dude.
That's the tough agency zone for sure.
Yeah, that is the.
You don't have reliable lead flow, so you can't just kind of like scale.
Solo agency.
Yeah. So this is what happens: is that you kind of build some skills you network around, and I guess I'm projecting a bunch here, but you build some skills you network around, and you get some work from that. And so your work kind of comes from your network, and you're kind of doing this thing where you're like doing lead gen by like being involved in communities, posting online, going to some events, but you're also in the day to day fulfilling. So you can't do too much of that lead gen stuff. And you're not like all the way in the fulfillment, building really good systems. Mm-hmm. And you don't feel like you can hire someone because you're like, well, if I lose a client, like I can't reliably bring in a client to like feed, to make sure that they're going to stay fed. And or maybe you can hire like really like a overseas person to help with some junior stuff.
Yeah.
But not you. So I think that's where they kind of are, is that it's like, just in that, how do I get out of that zone?
Can you tap like I try to look for like the easiest solution, but can you tap like a friend or somebody that is close to, that understands the industry, not even co-founder, like just be a simple commission-based lead person.
Yeah. That could be it.
Somebody that's down for that, like there's also like 10 hours a week to just always be looking, and then that'll create a funnel for them a little bit.
There's also services, like there's outreach and lead gen, like call setting services that he could maybe look into. Look, give me your thoughts on this. I think my theory on like hiring those services for an agency is that, like, depending on the niche or whatever, but my thought on hiring those services for an agency is that it's like, it's a core competency. I don't think you're going to be able to outsource it well. I think you're going to get unqualified leads. I don't know. I remember
there's vibes of certain agencies too. Like you only want to work with streetwear brands or apparel, or I don't know.
This is a creative agency. So look, I'm guessing I don't know.
The beauty of this agency that exactly is like it has a skill of creation and distribution of assets. Like I feel, although creative agencies are really commoditized, you have the ability to do good organic lead gen if you're consistent in creating correctly. Yeah. We watch Forrest do this. We watch Static Club. We watch a handful of guys come up and down. And even to a degree, for us on Constant, like we win because we explain and show what we do from an asset creation standpoint.
Yeah.
So I think this area that he's stuck in is really difficult, because he's probably charging the most that he feels he can charge, which is not true. I'm going to charge more. Build himself a little bit of space to hire someone that's commission based. And also I think this is another investment of help me build the system. I'm willing to invest and pay you a setup fee and ongoing coaching for me to kind of use it internally.
Yeah.
You can't outsource the actual leads being generated, but you can outsource the building of the system to get the leads going. Because this is a deal flow issue. If you don't feel confident enough in going to spend the money to hire the person to get you out of the day-to-day, which is usually fulfillment and client management, which is a very important role, whether it's account manager or it's people operations, it's because you don't confidently believe you can hire this against the revenue that you have coming in.
Yeah.
That's the only issue.
It is what it is. Or you don't feel the revenue is reliable enough.
So what do? You know what? I'm stacking cash for a quarter.
Yep.
And I'm going to make a point, like I'm going to make a bet. I'm going to make a bet. And this is a leap of faith move.
Yeah.
But if it gets me out of it, guess what I can do? I can generate more leads, get more deal flow. So you do need to get that person to manage the ongoing. And look, you're going to lose some clients. The fulfillment, you're going to lose some people.
You are, yeah.
The moment you decide I'm not full-time focused on this is the moment you start giving a percentage of retention.
Yeah.
That's just name of the game, dude. But you need the deals.
Let me just say how you solved this and how I solved this. You did it for structure, how I did it for EGM.
Yeah.
The way that you did it is that you had a co-founder from the beginning. So Jake was more fulfillment focused. You were more biz dev out of Vegas.
Yeah.
Right. The way that I did it was similar to how Bart has done Dad Gang. I got a little ways down the road, and then I had a childhood friend whose value aligned with me, who was completely raw, had never worked in it at all before, but I just knew it was
the trust was there.
Smart, and I trusted him and stuff like that. And so because he was very raw, I was able to hire him for very cheap, like Filipino wages cheap. And and just train him up over time. And then, and then he was like super aligned on comp, like where his base stayed really low, but his upside was good. So he started making good money just on, percentage of retention and stuff like that. Right. So yeah, I mean, we both solved this by finding like, I guess, quote unquote, cheap labor that we could trust to do the fulfillment side.
Yep.
And then I also then found like, I went and found the other side as well and worked myself out of it entirely right before I sold it. So that's how we solved it. And if that option isn't available, so that's the option I would look for is like, oh, you got to like find that key person, I think, in an agency. But if that option's not available, then I think I would just go, all right, why don't I focus on the demand and like make a bet, like you said, know that I'm going to sacrifice retention a bit and just make a bet to get the demand. Because once I get the demand, if I'm like confident I can get the demand and I can get clients in the door, then I won't be so afraid to hire.
Yeah, you won't be afraid.
If I try something where I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this lead generation sales system and it works a couple times and I close some deals because of it, then I'm like, okay, well now I'm not so afraid to hire people because I know I can feed them.
Yeah.
And then you're building, it's going to be stressful because you're going to be building the airplane as you're flying it. But yeah, that would be like the second best.
It's something like animalistic when you're just like, dude, I got to close X deals this month to make sure that you cover payroll.
Yeah.
Something pretty crazy to like,
there is
to live in that for a while. You're like, oh my gosh. And then you do it.
Yeah.
Bro, talk about, there's no better shot in the self-confidence fund.
Yeah. I think there's two sides of it. There's the side of it where you don't have a reliable lead gen.
Yeah. You like black out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, whoa, I had to rely on myself to get this done.
Yeah. But it happens. I don't know. Sometimes when you get in that zone, like I was just solo agency consulting and like working people's accounts through 2020. And it was this like survival mode thing from zero. It was like, I have no job.
Yep.
I need to spin up an agency right now and I need to go find people to help.
Yep.
And I went straight to network, not desperate.
Yeah. You got a handful of contacts.
But like, hey man, love the brand. I know we chatted before. Like and there were genuinely like brands I already rock with. And it was just kind of like, hey, if you ever need help, let me know. And then like, it was genuine. The outreach was real. It wasn't like, hey, interested in doing your first bit? Yeah. Hey, you know, and like super long ask that sounds desperate. It was kind of just like, hey, I think I know where I can like help take your brand and would love to work with you. And then like next thing you know, I covered everything. Like in 2 weeks, I had 5 clients but you have to get into this. Like, I think sometimes when bad things happen to us, like when we lose jobs or get laid off,
your back's got to be against the wall.
Well, it's so easy. The common response is to lean away from it, go complain, go cry to people, and like really like look for empathy. Yeah. Whereas like you should go a little dark, like you should go a little demon mode, and lean into the pain of that, and then just like come out of it. Like you said, you feel a little like superhero-ish because you leaned into the bad thing that's happening to you and you came out of it with a solution rather than like, kind of complaining about it. So I do think sometimes like if this guy's struggling for new clients or new leads, like get into that zone, get into this.
Put your back against the wall purposely.
Yeah. I know we all say like, lock in or whatever, but it's like, it's so real. Like just be like, leave me alone, whoever, I don't know if they're married or whatever, but like, let me do this for the next like 2 weeks. I'm just going to lock in. And like, if you're intentional about finding clients, I think it's sometimes turns out being easier than you thought. Yeah. And if they align with whatever he's already doing, it's even better.